Hey, going to start off the episode on a serious note. I know we normally say that and it's not serious, but this is actually very serious. Today, I was lucky enough to spend some time with a young man called Dougal McLaughlin. Now, Dougal has neurofibromatosis that causes tumours to form on his nerves, under his skin, and deep, in his body. And it affects roughly 1 in every 3,000 births, about 2.5 million people around the world. And these tumours obviously can grow and be malignant. And obviously these ones have got into the nerves of his spine and around his spine. They've grown in his spine. And the day after his 31st birthday, the doctors walked in and told him that sure enough, he has these tumours in the sheath of his spine, in the nerve sheath, and he unfortunately is dying. And there is no cure for what he's got. And there's a company that works with him and with other people in hospital called Dreams to Live For. And they go around giving wishes or trying to fulfill wishes for kids and adults who are in palliative care or on their deathbeds. And Dougal's wish was to meet me, which was unbelievable. Just crazy. I said, are you sure you want to waste this? Like, you're very sure. Yeah. But sure enough, he wanted to meet me and spend some time with me. So he, is an amazing man. His outlook on life is just unbelievable. He'll be listening now. So this episode is dedicated to him. We're all with you, brother, and wishing you all the best. And thinking of you, mate.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dan Does Footy podcast. You can find more of Dan Does Footy on the website, Spotify, YouTube, and social. Lids off. See ya.
There was heaps of sick kids, and I was like, where are they? Kick him harder. Kick him all harder. Punch him in the face. I'm bloody horizontally challenged, if you get what I mean. This is the line. If you don't hear the next bit, it's over the line. Okay, so if you don't hear the next bit, I've got over the line. Let's just walk past Punt Road. He dips him. Hey, welcome back. It is Thursday, the 3rd of October. We're so glad that we're in your ears, in your hearts, and in your eyeballs if you're listening on YouTube. A lot of eyeballs. We have a lot to get through. I know that the footy stopped on the field, still happening off the field. There's a shit ton of shit happening everywhere.
Beautifully said.
There's just things going crazy. How was your night? 2 nights ago.
On Monday?
Yeah.
Oof.
How was it? How'd you go? How'd you think you went?
Yeah. For my actual job, totally fine.
A lot's come out of that night.
Yeah, it was a bloody great night. I was like a little bit nervous. Probably good that we've had so much on.
Yeah.
To like not overthink about it too much. Real honour, first of all. It was like legitimately. I mean, look, you've started seriously, so I'll start seriously too. Not as seriously, but it's kind of pretty wild. You grow up loving this club and distinct memories of, 5 minutes to go in a game and running downstairs to your bedroom and praying to the posters that you got on the wall that, Nick Revolt's going to kick this goal and and then he wouldn't, all of that stuff. And then to be in that room was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was. Your performance was good?
Yes, interviewed Seb Ross, Angus McLennan, young guy, and Bradley Hill.
Seb Ross looks like Dylan Moore. Like really very similar.
Yeah, you said this earlier. I get it. I do get it, yeah.
Yeah. And you presented him a ring. I saw that. We saw that getting around.
It was a pin. That was a bit weird because it came in a little ring box. And last minute, the event organisers said, "Look, obviously a bit awkward. He's been delisted. We might make this funny. Do you mind proposing to him?" I do a bit mind. Yeah, but I will.
That's great. It was good though. It looked, and he said that his wife and him watched the show.
Hey, we're the players' show.
We are.
And look, I had my head down a lot whenever Max or Ben King walked around. Not sure who it was. Still don't know.
Wilkie?
Didn't actually speak to Wilkie. Yeah, I was a little bit scared. But congratulations to him, of course, on winning the best and fairest. But the players, every time would walk past, they'd go, or even players' partners would say, "Hey, I'm Jack Sinclair's partner." Just want to say, really, really love the show.
We're big with partners.
Yeah.
We're the partner show.
Yeah, we're the partner show.
We're everyone's show. The player show, the partner show, we're your show.
Yep.
We're just everyone's show. We're trying to be, it's broad.
Yeah.
Journalism.
Absolutely.
We spread our wings. We fly across all forms in the St Kilda room last night on the socials. We're there for everyone to love.
We're so omnipresent.
We are very omnipresent. A lot happened coming that night. Now, the Saints president, Andrew Bassett, did he have a few drinks when we got up there? Because he did not miss the AFL.
I hope he didn't have a few drinks. I hope that's exactly what he meant to say.
It was very like a Stephen May type of thing when I first saw it. You know what we got to do? Guys, I know that the clubs, you think that it's a good idea to live stream best and fairest. Got to stop it. I think now we've had 2 instances in the last 2 years. The Stephen May one, that was live stream, that obviously him saying that we would smoke the pies in the grand final, and now Andrew Bassett. Maybe might be a call for us to stop live streaming.
I feel like they're very different moments though, don't you?
He didn't miss the AFL though.
No, he didn't. He went
didn't at all. He was passionate. He said, now should we play what he said?
Go on then.
Let's play what he said.
Level playing field, as we all know. And the system is basically designed, the more I look at it, the system is designed to favour the wealthier clubs and it's designed to favour the northern clubs. And our role is meant to be to just make up the numbers and not complain about it. In terms of what we're doing about it, it's fair to say that our club is sick and tired of meekly accepting this. It's rubbish. And we've decided absolutely as a club to...
That's you clapping, Ollie.
Rubble.
In them, Andrew. Come on.
We're absolutely committed as a club to fight relentlessly to ensure that we're given a fairer opportunity for success. We've actually made some progress this year. We led the charge to ensure that a fairer price is paid for father, son and for academy.
Andrew's got jokes here, ready?
Unfortunately, the AFL in its wisdom chose to make the changes next year, so I had a great time after half-time. It was pretty clear that Brisbane was going to win.
Jokes.
Every single commissioner I found, I did find, and the conversation went to the effect of, I've got a great idea. How about you give the best player in the draft to Brisbane this year? And then I'd start walking away and say, don't charge them for it.
Jokes Bassett at the grand final, Tour de Commissioners. Unreal. They would love that.
It went off.
Yeah, they would love that. How was that received in the room?
Well, that was, to be fair, a clip out of maybe a 15-minute speech. And
that's all it takes, Ollie. You know the caper.
No, but what I'm saying is there was a lot more.
Oh, that we missed.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Give us a scoop here.
Well, no, it wasn't a scoop. It was streamed. It's just what I like. Okay, I get it. I do get it, the criticism, but for a club of our size and the disappointment that we've had over the years, I tell you, it's bloody refreshing being in a room where he was like, nah, not good enough.
Not copying this shit anymore.
Not copying it from us. We weren't good enough. Like he also was saying that. Like we've got heaps of things that we need to fix. So I like that. It wasn't a bit of, whatever. He was like, nah.
Yeah. You know what? Normally I would jump on the back of this and maybe join the crowd, the outside noise that are jumping on him for his comments. But I'm going to say this. Good to show a bit of fight. Bit of passion coming outside those walls. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, this is a club, as you mentioned, that has been unsuccessful 151 years. A club that probably has been the most unsuccessful club in the AFL.
Most wooden spoons.
Yep. So haven't seen success for a long time. It hasn't been a consistent thing for your footy club. So him to come out and say enough's enough. Line in the sand moment here. We're not copping it anymore. We're not copping, the brunt of NGAs, our academies. We're not copying the father-son. How if you're a father-son, you get a discount price to get the best player in the league. I actually loved it. Now, he does have a good point about the Premier's Brisbane getting the number 1 pick. That is, I think we can all see now that that's unfair now.
And also, Levi Ashcroft has nothing to do with St Kilda. We wouldn't be getting him regardless.
No.
So he's also speaking on behalf
of
the league.
Yeah.
He would probably be going to Richmond, right? So I like that. It wasn't, as if we had the number 1 pick and he's being salty.
Yeah. He's a voice. Yeah. In that instance, he's a voice of the league. And if you don't think Levi Ashcroft is a machine, I watched this one highlight of him today.
Really?
This kid is like next level. Like it's scary how good he is. And he's going to walk to Brisbane who just want a flag. I'm telling you, I know a lot of the stuff, especially in the industry now, we don't really see a lot of the kids. We just hear about them and obviously in their first season, we give them a free pass and just let them go. And the top 1 pick is normally the best and the 10 is whatever and the 50 is whatever. But this Levi Ashcroft motherfucker is next level. Next level. He's like what Will is right now. That's how good he is.
But it's 17.
At 17. So he's going to walk to the Premiers. He spoke about the academies up in, North and in Sydney and all that. And he has also a point on that. Gold Coast can afford to draft a top 10 pick, like an Elijah Hollands or whoever it might be, and let them walk away when they've had enough of the footy club, because they know that in their academy and through how it works currently in the AFL and how the draft and all that they can just pick up a Jed Walter in their academy.
Sure.
So that's what he's saying there with all that stuff. It's like, well, these clubs, expansion clubs, are getting all these handouts with picks, and they're taking these high talent, and those talent, they just walk out the club. Same happened to Dylan Stevens in Sydney. They take him at pick 5 and he walks, and that's okay because they have 55 Charlie Horsewaters just coming through the door, which is fine for them to do, where St Kilda would never have that luxury.
No.
We've seen that in the draft over the last couple of years. The father and son stuff, I think we're changing that. I think that at the moment you get a deduction for taking your father's son. The club's actually given a bit of leeway.
I thought the one thing I would say as well, I was getting a little bit uncomfortable because I did sort of remind myself that Nick Riewoldt has 3 sons.
I think you might want to hold up
on his way, so let's just
hold well, Andrew,
chill out a little
before
bit.
you start getting a bit trill out on this thing. Look at a few Riewolds coming through the door.
They are 6 foot at the age of 11.
Yeah,
so
let's just calm down. You're being too loud on this thing.
Yeah.
But I think with him all that.
Yeah.
I agree on the father-son stuff. I agree on the academy. I love the passion and the fight coming out of this football club where we've been yearning for them to take the chopsticks out and come to the party with a bit of vigour.
Yeah.
I love that. But also you look at the backyard.
Sure.
And say, hey, we fucked up here a little bit too.
Okay.
So we know Max King over Rosie Smith and Butters in the draft.
Sure.
Clark and Caulfield over Norton, Zach Bailey, Tom DeConning, Sam Taylor, Oscar Allen, to name a few.
Sure.
McCartan over Petrarca.
Yeah, long run didn't work out.
Billings over Bontempelli.
Yeah, that one was a miss.
So I got some points, but also fucked up the draft.
Sure.
You know? Because those picks there could have changed your whole trajectory of your footy club.
Not his picks to do what he wants with them, though, in fairness.
No, but
he didn't pick them.
No, but his footy club.
And we've had a turnover of staff.
Okay, I'll see you get rid of him.
Yeah,
in steps Stephen Silvani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mastermind of the
He'll
spine.
turn that club around. Also, former grades of the footy club. There was a few there last night, I assume.
Heaps, yeah.
Heaps. If you love your footy club so much, start rooting. Let's start pumping some kids through the door, you know?
Sure.
If you're passionate about your football club, go home tonight, you make love to your wife, and you say in 18, 19 years, this sexual intercourse investment is going to pay the club dividends.
Yeah. It's an investment.
It is. And look at me. Let me be the example to those former grades.
Yeah.
I have done that for the Suns and for Carlton.
Yep.
I've said, Anna, enough's enough. I'm 32 years old. I've got to leave a seed and a legacy behind me. Let's get rooting. Okay? Let's leave this world with some kind of super kid, some freak show, like a Levi Ashcroft.
She's so lucky.
She is
you
so
whispering
lucky.
that in her ear.
And that's what we've left behind for the clubs.
Yeah.
That's how much you love your footy club.
Yeah, I get that, mate.
So good on them. And then the count.
Yes.
Wow, the part-time footballer, part-time CFO for Brad Crouch's company wins it. His first one.
Yep.
Unbelievable. The account went Callum Wilkie, 206 votes. Jack Sinclair, Josh Battle, awkward. Royal Marshall and Wangeline, your
roughie?
tip. Yeah.
Or the roughie.
Wangeline Millera came 5th there. So Josh Battle finished 3rd. Ooh, let's address the elephant in this room. Was told by the club, don't bother rocking up. We won't be celebrating you. Now, is this true that apparently no one mentioned his name? Presidents, coaches, is this true, Ollie? That's the whispers we're hearing.
His name in what sense?
And when there was time to maybe mention his name in the count, congrats to Josh Battle coming 3rd.
No.
Apparently it was a bit like, skip him.
No, that was said.
Was there any clapping for him?
There was clapping and then laughter because Ross
Wow.
Lyon was laughing. He was like, yep, I get it. Awkward.
Yeah.
They said, congratulations, Josh Battle, on finishing 3rd.
Yep.
But what wasn't there was the highlight package. So Sinclair got a highlights package.
Yep.
Wilkie got a highlights package.
But none for Josh Battle.
No, they just said, well done. And then a picture of him came up and there was applause and all
with
the
a
rest
big cross on his face
Yeah.
and pitchforks and fire around him. Wow. Okay. And was told not from the club not to come. So allegedly what we're hearing now is that he misled the boys. And that's why the club's a little bit filthy and the boys are filthy. Told the boys in a text message we're getting, allegedly, guys, these are our sources, saying to the boys, hey, I'm going to stay at the club, happy to be here, looking forward to the future. On one day, the next day said, I'm out of here.
Right, okay.
That's what I'm hearing.
If that is the case,
contractually, you can't say much.
I also don't know.
Well, I'm just hearing from the sources.
That would annoy me.
That annoyed me. So apparently that's where we're at with him. So they're all, I cannot wait for that game. That's going to be on for young and old.
That's
going to be
good
a
one.
battle.
Oh, well said.
It's going to be a big battle. And just seeing here in the count, the Saints 4th. Marshall 4th.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Do they want him to leave? Show him some love. Bit of respect. 4th.
Well, the 4th doesn't surprise me so much, but the gap between 4th and 1st, 143 votes to 206, that's a fair gap.
That's a big gap for someone who's doing this part-time as well.
He was bloody good, Wilkie.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's been a star since he come in.
Yeah.
Absolute stud down back.
And can I just say, like, yeah, okay, so we talk about those picks we got wrong, but this is also a guy who went undrafted.
This is a guy who was working a job.
Yeah.
Which all he wants to do by the seams
so
of it.
we can get some things really right. And it just shows that just in humans, I think we're not great at talent identification at the best of times.
No.
Because when you look at the list that you said there, I think that we probably have every right to have taken Max King. We had every right to take Paddy McCartan at number 1. We had every right to look at Jack Billings with the best kicking efficiency in the draft. You know, all of those things at the time look great on paper. They just don't work out like that sometimes.
You can only make decisions based on the evidence that you've got in front of you.
Exactly right.
You can. Like, look at me. Pick 10.
You
could
showed
never
every
make that.
sign.
I showed every sign. I gave all the evidence. I say this thing will be great for you for 10 to 15 years. So that's what they did right there. The recruiting team, you said that they've done a turnover there. A whole new team or thereabouts.
Trotting along for some time, you know, and get someone else in and whatever.
This thing will get right. This is I do feel for Saints and their fans and the whole club, because it has been a team, as we said, that has not seen any success for a long time. So now it feels like the frustrations are growing stronger and stronger, and they really do want it to have success. And they obviously got a war chest now; they can go and speed that thing up. But yeah. I thought the only thing I thought, I loved the passion from Andrew. The only thing I thought at the time was weird timing to do it now.
Right, okay.
Trying to celebrate, motivate, get the boys ready for preseason and can come back next year, to be like, oh, the AFL's against us, in a sense. I was like, weird. Don't know about that. I would have saved it.
Okay, for when?
Well, tell the guy who's working the camera to turn it off. Just give me 5 minutes, turn that thing off. Go to a break. Technical difficulties. Wouldn't have thought, caller. So we'll leave the Saints at that. What are the Saints? Great year, Saints. Well done. Well done, Saints. Come back next year. Get the chopsticks in the eyes. Joe Danaher looking more and more likely like he will retire now. Brisbane CEO came out today and said we had a chat with him earlier, and signs are looking to probably most likely that Joe will be done. Wanted to get the glory and the final goal of winning a premiership. He's got that now. We think that this could be it.
If you're going to do it, unreal timing.
You do at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that changed that footy club now, who were looking to go back-to-back. Without Joe Danaher up there, that's a different Brisbane forward line. Eric the Eel, we love Eric. You know I love Eric. But I can't trust Eric to carry the load.
I don't think you can trust Joe, though, can you either?
But at least you know what you're getting from Joe.
Which is?
He's going to give you something absolutely fucked amazing, or the opposite, absolutely fucked shit.
So what? So at least you can rely on the inconsistency.
Yes, at least you're getting something. He's going to produce something. You're not sure what it is. With Eric, I'm not sure what he's producing at all.
Sure.
Is he producing? Sometimes we go and we love Eric, we love what he does because he kicked that amazing goal, and we had those 1 in every 10 games. We go, this is amazing. But sometimes he's like, Eric, where are you?
Yeah.
Is Eric on the field right now, or is Eric just in his own world? I'm not really sure. So that would leave a massive hole in a club looking to go back to back.
You know what I like about Danaher's last goal, though? It was such a Danaher goal. Like, you looked at it, looked so awkward. It was a giraffe on ice.
Unorthodox.
It was like, that's the Joe.
His whole game looked a bit like that, though.
Yeah.
Remember he had the open goal square, running in the open goal square and tripped over his own legs. Like, it's all just, it's like it's a struggle for him to piece this thing together because he's so tall.
Oh, it takes a while.
Get a process of thought down to the limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
He's got bad thigh-fi.
If that is the end for him, hell of a career, Joe. Well done. Have a career, Joe. Around the league, Andrew McQualter has landed in Perth as the new head coach of the Eagles. We spoke about this last episode a little bit, but the Eagles and his relationship off to a shaky start, some are saying.
Oh, what, already?
Yeah. All had to do with the flight. Now, the Eagles flew him and his family.
Yeah.
First impressions matter, yeah?
Yeah.
They flew him economy. And people are saying, hold on. They're on the same flight as some of the bigger dogs at the West Coast Eagles, saying the bigger dogs who may be in the board went to the business class. Andrew and his family to the back. But then more development said, Andrew said to the board and everyone else, don't put me in business class. Keep the money on the field, not in the sky. And he's got a great point. So he's off to a great start there. And some of us were probably thinking now, good on him. I love that he's got this job. I think he's going to be a great 2, 3, 4-year coach for this footy club to get development into him and all that. Let's get a good look at him right now. Let's take a picture of him right now because in 4 years, not even that, 2 years, the hair will go.
Sure.
It'll go grey. Wrinkles will start. He's going to look extremely different, tired and weathered in about 24 months' time.
Yeah, pre-first coaching job is a great time to get married.
Yep.
Get those forever photos.
Yep.
Do
Get him
all of
now.
that stuff.
Get him now.
Yeah.
Because he's got the hardest job in football. This thing is a slog. There's no easy way to turn that job around or that club around. This is going to be a long, long process.
It's your first big job. You've got to turn the club around whilst also trying to hold on to the superstar of the competition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving
Some big
parts
hurdles
there.
to jump. In a town that loves their football.
Yeah.
And in a town where the Eagles are up against it to try and compete with their younger, cooler
100%.
brother who is actually doing well.
It's nowhere near as hard as – sorry, it's way harder than a Richmond job, which is a gigantic job.
Yeah.
Richmond have huge
massive expectations.
But I just don't see it as hard in a weird way.
No. Richmond job compared to the Eagles job. No, it's not at all. Because the Richmond have a free hit. I think the Eagles, they're a big footy club, one of the biggest in that we have.
Yeah.
So they expect to be good straight away. They've
Yeah.
got the best player, the young player in the league. They got to get this thing moving a bit.
Yeah.
Moving a bit. So shout out to him. He's going to have an absolute mare there for a couple of years, but he'll come good. End of an era for AFL 360. And Robbo, did you see this?
I
This
did,
made me
mate.
sad. As much as we
Did it?
take the out of Robbo, he did some great things. He did some rogue things, but I've got some highlights of him.
Ooh.
I want to play some of my favourite moments from Robbo.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to get a Gatorade because
cool.
it has been a big week for me.
I love how you have them stacked over there as well. Just getting into it as well. We have about, I think, this looks like 20 Gatorades in the corner here, and Ollie has had maybe 20 already.
Okay.
Hey, Robbo, favourite people that you've watched the final with?
Oh, let me read.
Okay, Brad is our first winner. My parish priest came along with us once and boy, did he get his head. And it's all in total shock.
What was it? God damn it!
Release the inner demon. I love it. Richard has given us the 2006 grand final with my dad. First time he ever gave me a high five and denies it to this day.
Oh, good on you.
Stuart has given us my mate Greg. He hates the footy, so I didn't leave my seat or pay for one beer run. And he loves beer. So there were plenty. I love that. That's outstanding. Darren,
Randy Mouth.
Darren wins with Mum. Mum reluctantly accepted an invite to her first game 99 prelim. Fell in love with our
Talk
game.
about memories.
Carlton tragic ever since.
Good game to
We
go,
finish on a high point here with Troy. 13 years old, 2002 preliminary final. Pies versus Crows. Both next to me invited me to strip it.
After we won, Dad said,
No, shattered.
He's losing it.
The finals.
Just lost it. So that's Robbo.
I like Jared lost it a bit in that one
Jared
too.
lost it as well. Jared looks young there. Okay, my second favourite Robbo moment.
oh, yeah, I'll marry you.
That was it.
Short and sweet. I like it.
My third one. This is him talking to Gil about COVID.
On the health of the competition and the health of the league, I think they were your words. Would you have to rethink your future at the AFL, bearing in mind that the consequences of this coronavirus could be felt for many a year?
Talking to Gil.
Well, I don't know quite what the question is. In terms of everyone sharing the financial pain, absolutely.
The second question is, does this coronavirus has any impact on your future in the AFL, with the AFL?
In what sense, Robert? I mean, my job right now is to get us all through.
How long will that take?
How long's it going to take, Gil?
I don't know. If I knew that, then I should probably be advising Canberra rather than the other way.
Asking Gil how long COVID's going to take. What a man. I loved him. And last one here. Oh, the Anymar one.
Great fiasco. What do? You get one of your journos who's on side, Robbo. You give him a little story. Not a fair income story just yet because they haven't signed the deal. But you say, Robbo, if you want to go with something, we're very close with Michael Hurley. Any chance you can get that in the paper tomorrow? Lo and behold, back page, Essendon Sweet.
You are a wanker, Andy Murray.
Just didn't miss anyone. I loved him. Good on him. Great career. Lost it towards the back end a little bit, but Just took no prisoners.
I get a bit emotional thinking about those two because in a weird way it reminds me of you and me.
Yeah, we've got another 13 years in this thing.
You've got a bloke who can string a sentence together and one
is a bit slobbo sometimes.
One is just sort of saying what he says.
Slobbo sometimes. Apparently, so everyone's thinking that he walked away, but he actually got sacked. He says he got told last Tuesday by Fox Sport bosses Steve Cawley that changes would be made, and unfortunately I'm the change. Clearly at the end, everyone was in my corner. Well, if you're going to get sacked from that show, clearly people are in your corner. Robin said he didn't have the same buzz as last year, and the grand final show is a real celebratory show. It's like a wow performance, how great that was. I just didn't feel like I was in the headspace to do that. Well done, Robbo. Great career. Will be missed. I think he's still the lead journo at Herald Sun.
Probably,
right?
yep.
Probably. Anyway, great career. Great career to him. Lots happening around the league. A lot of big fish are looking to still move around the pond that is the AFL. The first one is Dan Houston, which we'll cover right now. Port Adelaide are filthy with Carlton, with how this is being handled right now. In the early stages of negotiations for the two-time All-Australian superstar, and they've called Carlton arrogant, delusional, with the club refusing to work with Carlton at the moment. Sam Edmonds said this: the Power just flatly refusing to deal with Carlton over this player. They are angry at what they perceive to be Carlton arrogance in the early negotiations here. They're not even talking directly at the moment. They're talking through Dan Hughes' management. It's passing messages on at the moment. So Carlton have put a first-round pick from a third party and Matty Always on the table for Port. And Carlton then would get Houston, the third party involved in the trade would get Carlton's future first-round pick. And that has not gone down well at all at Albion. That is insulting to them. So all of this has made somehow the Kangaroos now a landing spot for Houston, because he's met with Clarko, and Clarko sold the vision, the direction, their youth, their boners, sold the whole kit and caboodle to them, and they've got cash and picks to make it happen. Now, Dan Houston could get there very easily, gets paid more cash, but he would be a miserable son of a bitch.
Sure, you've got that on the table.
I mean, does he want to cry in his, let's say, Range Rover to work every day? Is that a life he wants to live for the next 10 years?
I'd think about it.
I mean, it would be okay.
Yeah.
It would be okay. But that's the reality of his situation if he does get back to Melbourne, that it probably will be North Melbourne.
Right, okay.
That's a hard slog. So if he gets to North, I truly believe it's because plan A, going to Carlton, has fallen through. He wants to get to Carlton, is what we're hearing.
Because of arrogance. How annoying.
Because of Carlton's arrogance to not put up that pick 11 they have at the moment, and to try and look around for a third-party first-round pick or a third-party future first-round pick. So they do not want to part ways with pick 11.
And they're not even talking to each other. I
Arrogant.
love that. Passing notes. I'm not an owl sort of stuff.
Is that Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're banned.
But to be fair, I'll put a bit. I actually could have. I apologise to everyone listening because I could have done that a bit more subtly.
You could have done it a bit more subtly.
Yeah.
Get the next try. You'll get through one. Now, normally what we say with these trades is they normally get done. Like 90% of the time when a player comes out and says, I want to trade, it does get resolved and the player gets to whoever they want to. Now, he said in this case he doesn't want to go to Carlton directly. He's happy to go anywhere that can work out best support. I guarantee that he said he wants to go to Carlton behind closed doors.
Okay.
He does not want to go to North. I just can't see Dan. I can't even see him in blue and white.
Well.
Close your eyes. See him
Navy
streaming
blue.
off half back.
Yeah, I see your point.
Can you see him? I can't see it.
I see your point.
At all. But right now, the situation is that the rare cases that we talk about where it doesn't happen, this might actually be one of them. All because of Harry Perryman, a young man called Harry Perryman, who's today said that he is going to go to the Pies on a 6-year contract worth a shit ton of money. Now, not a stud at all. Coming from the Giants, but he can play some roles. Mid, half back, inside. He's 25 years old, a list that probably needs a bit of that younger, ready-made youth. Good fit for both parties here. But this is now absolutely put Port in a position where they don't need to get rid of Houston at all. I think they were going to were happy to trade Houston away if Perryman had chosen them. But now that Perryman's gone to the Pies, they're like, well, we'll just hold Houston now till 2027 to his contract, which has made his plans to get to Carlton left in shambles. This thing's going to get really, really messy. Really messy. Now, North have the picks to make this happen. They have the money to make it happen. They have Clarko. They have bonus. They have pick 2 currently at the moment. We're thinking that they split that pick 2 for something in the first steal, in the first 10 picks, and then maybe a future first as well. But it leaves Dan Houston getting Carlton in all sorts.
Wow.
In all sorts. So watch this space on Dan Houston getting there.
Thank God he did that interview saying, look, I would actually really like to stay at Port as well if that happens, because that's a great option as well.
It just
Hedging your bets.
We love Dan Hughes. He's my favourite Port player, as you know, but we're going to work on this PR thing for everyone. Him and Melbourne need to go to PR school and work out how to like handle it when the camera's in your face, what to say and what not to say, I think. Speaking of people who want to get away from cameras last off-season, especially Clayton Oliver, this is big. Meets with Geelong ahead of trade period starting on Monday. Now, a lot of our sources telling us that he is very much gettable, that Melbourne actually said, Clary, you can go shop yourself around, see what's out there. Tied to the club till 2030 on a shit ton of money. But if a club would offer something to Melbourne, I think they'd happily free up the space to get rid of him.
I was just thinking that it makes you think when they say about Petrarca, they go, of course he's going to be a Melbourne player. He's contracted for X amount of years. It goes, no. You want Petrarca because I think you like Petrarca.
Yeah.
And he's contracted for so many years.
Yeah.
Clayton Oliver, contracted for so many years, but I think we can do without him.
This thing's been bubbling away for now 12 months. The off-season from last year, the lack of support we felt that seemingly Melbourne didn't have for Clary when all this stuff was happening. It felt like they left him out to dry. So Clary's had to deal with that. Didn't have an off-season or hardly an off-season at all. Plays round one, gets injured towards the back in this season. And I think now Clary is looking for a fresh start. And Clary himself would probably happily leave Melbourne if he could find a fresh start somewhere else. So last year was Adelaide, St Kilda, have a war chest, could do it again. Geelong that asked the questions. Geelong are going to ask it again. Now Luke on Twitter, this came across our desk, said this, spotted.
Hang on. Luke just...
I don't know, Luke.
This
it was
is
just on Twitter,
Luke.
mate. I found it.
Okay.
Just a Luke said this on Twitter.
All right. Well, this is confirmed then, whatever it is.
Spotted. Reece Stanley, Joel Selwood and D-Star Clayton Oliver lining up to ride the Ferris wheel at Eastern Beach this afternoon. Boring as shit city when you got a Ferris wheel. That's your telltale number one that you're in a boring city. There's a Ferris wheel.
Sure.
This afternoon, shortly after having lunch with Tom Hawkins at the Geelong Hotel. Can't spell Clayton without C-A-T. Luke from Twitter has a point. You can't spell.
No, he's correct there.
So there's something there. So he's all over this. So if Geelong do this, how do they do this? And why do they do this? Every year, they just say, fuck these draft picks. We're somehow going to pull money from God knows where and just be good consistently. Follow the same rules as everyone else. You have a good team for a bit, it's fun. And then you fall off the cliff, you rebuild, you give some games to kids who shouldn't be getting games, and you're just shitty for a bit. And then eventually the cycle works out. You come good and you might win a flag or you might be mediocre, and that's okay. And then you rebuild. They just bypass that every time. Follow the same rules as us. Okay? Be shit like us, like you. It's not hard. It's an easy system to follow. They don't do it. They stop. They get rid of draft picks and say, fuck it. You know what? We just want the best talent all the time. Bailey Smith on top of that. Clary Oliver. We need to investigate them. What's going on down there?
Yeah,
How
it's
is
true.
it? How are they doing this?
If they do that, I mean, that's the bulk of their team made up again.
They clearly don't give a shit about a salary cap.
No.
Or they've got a different one to everyone else. Or
Salary cut.
Or is Cotton On and Ford giving some contracts out that we don't know about yet? Is Cotton On or Ford saying, hey, do you want 50 Rangers or a Raptor? 10 Raptors. Then you can sell 9 of them and have one. Wink, wink. And then Geelong says, hey, you know you spoke to Ford. Here's your playing contract for $80,000. Sell the 9 Raptors. Is that something that we're looking into right now? How does it happen? Now, everyone, when I raised this online, everyone did say, hey, we delisted 7 players. We also got rid of Tom Hawkins till he retired. So they must just have a shit ton of money. And maybe the delisting of 7 players, Hawkins retiring at 2, more so the delisting 7 players, that makes sense now to go after Smith and Clary. If this has been their master plan the whole time, Fugazi the league, Fugazi'd me. That is steps ahead of everyone else.
Oh,
if
it
they plan
checks
this.
out though. That does make sense.
It would be unbelievable if they could pull this off. And just like not in the sense that everyone probably thinks I want to mean this, but like a rehabilitation centre for players.
I was going to
Don't
say
you
the
reckon?
exact same thing.
It always is. Stengel went there, turned his career around.
Yep.
Anyone with injuries has always gone to Geelong. Like a club that opens up their arms when, if a player has ever wanted out or had any troubles, injuries off field, they've always had their arms open and they've always been able to turn players over and turn careers around.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. It's a credit to the people there.
And it's 2 guys that would highly benefit from that environment.
Yeah. Tuck them down there.
Yep.
We know, and this is fact, there is fuck all to do down there. except to play footy and focus on football.
Yep.
Apart from that, a Ferris wheel and literally staring and watching paint dry.
Yeah.
Because that city is a shithole.
I will say this, though. It's not just about the city, because I was talking to a guy, unconfirmed, I won't bother telling you who it was, but a guy that was thinking about playing for the Cats.
Yeah.
Right? And he was telling me about, like where you'd live and what the lifestyle looks like. And I go, I haven't thought about that. You wouldn't be in a 2-bedroom apartment in the middle of Geelong.
Ollie, no.
You'd be in Torquay.
You've got a farm. Yeah, or near the water, Torquay, or you've got a farm.
So I'm like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at this all different. I'm an hour away from Melbourne, but I've got the lifestyle of Joe Danaher.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm understanding this thing.
Yeah. Oh, no, 100%. And, yeah, I could have the temptation of the city on a Saturday night of going to CQ or Revs, or I've got 50 sheep that need feeding in the morning. I've got a cow that needs its tits milked.
Yeah.
That's a great way to straighten a player up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it to anyone.
Clary, you used to going out, are you? Yeah. How does having 50 cows to milk tomorrow sound?
Yeah.
Give me this any night alone.
Yeah.
I would love doing that by myself on a farm.
5 a.m.
Look at me. I'm a footy player.
Yeah.
I've just whacking cows off.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I do this during the day, and then at night when I go back to farm,
I do this.
Start doing that.
Yeah.
Same motion, really. That's actually how they teach the Oz kickers in Geelong to handball.
Yeah.
So some kids are like, oh, I don't really get how to, they're like, oh, ice cream cone. They're like, oh, you mean wank the cow off?
Yeah. That's what you're
that
trying
makes
to say.
Yeah, wank the cow off.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense to me. I mean, you won't get that unless you're on YouTube at all. Anyway. Hey, big news came across our desk from more sources. A lot of sources coming to the floor this episode.
It's the month of the sauce.
This is Sourcey month.
Yeah.
It's getting real saucy. A lot of people have flooded our DMs with stuff they've heard. Obviously, Luke on Twitter, we saw. That was common knowledge. I found that. But a lot of people have slid into our DMs getting saucy with it. So the next few are going to be sources. Now, we have news on our desk. Luke Parker, confirmed today, looking for a way out of the club. Kick 3 in the grand final. Value went up through the roof. Taylor Adams, Chad Warner, open the door, pack the bags, they're out.
See you later.
Allegedly looking for new clubs. Now, this is a club that has salary cap issues already. They are bursting at the seams. The bank's about to explode. They cannot pay anyone any more money. They're in trouble. If anything, they need to offload on their books. And we knew that Luke Parker was talking to North early in the year. Taylor Adams went to a club, Sydney last year after being at the Magpies. In hindsight, probably picked the wrong club. I think he should have looked at this club going, okay, I'll be stuck behind Heaney, Warner, Gordon.
Sure.
That's going to be tough to break.
Yeah.
So we're hearing he might be looking for a new club. And then Chad Warner's a big one. Been murmurs and whispers of him all year long wanting to get back to Freo. That would be a big loss for them.
Could you imagine Freo with Chad?
Again.
Just really let that sink in.
So imagine Freo with a Chad, a Bolton. Who else are they getting? Well, maybe a Pickett. Don't sleep on Pickett as well.
Don't sleep on Pickett.
I'm going to change my way too early prediction to my premiership.
I love it.
Freo.
I love it.
What they're building out west.
To what they've already got.
What they're building out west is scary. They've got some pieces already. We know that. They didn't make finals this year. They were absolutely robbed at the end of it. But I think they're building something super scary. They have a secret weapon over there that we didn't know about. They're going to be really scary for a little while with what they're doing out there. So watch this space on what Sydney's doing.
Yeah.
It's getting scary out there. Now outside, before I keep talking about other shit that's happening in the league, Healthy Harold update. I told you.
Well,
I told you. There was a draft in a van.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I think you just got into a random van. Everyone was on my side, mate.
I think Healthy Harold, I've heard that is a South Australian thing.
No, it's nationwide.
Well,
you thought I could pull him out then, weren't you?
But I think what you missed was that I think Healthy Harold was a drug giraffe. So you'd go into the booze bus.
Alcohol and drug.
Which makes more sense to me. Okay, please select the state so we can show you the most relevant content of, okay, let's just say Tasmania.
Go.
I just want to, did I miss out on Healthy Harold?
Healthy Harold was going around putting condoms on bananas as well.
There's nothing here. Book a visit.
I'm telling you, I was right.
Should we book him?
Yes. So some people said, yeah, no, you were right. You definitely. So initially I was on the right path. I got them mixed up at the start thinking Healthy Harold was actually Sexy Harold.
Sure.
That's where I got them confused. But then I came back to thinking maybe I am right because Sexy Harold, people were saying, no, I remember Sexy Harold whacking a condom on a banana. And then the puppet was there and it was just a lady. So now in hindsight, I was just saying, okay, it's a lady, actually.
No. We can just still pretend it was Healthy Harold the giraffe.
So I was right. Healthy Harold was doing sexy talks.
Okay, sexy talks. Can I just say, booking inquiry, we've got a few options. School administrator, teacher, educator, or parent. We could be two of those. You're technically about to be a parent.
True.
And we are an educator.
I thought we'd try and get Healthy Harold in here to talk about some stuff.
All right.
Because I know how it works, but I'd like him to fill everyone else in how it all works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just okay.
Take some notes.
But can I just say, we talked about so much on that review of the grand final.
It's all a blur to me.
And I want to say upwards of 95% of the comments on YouTube were all about that draft. Gives you a really good indication as to what our listeners enjoy listening to.
Yeah, look, no one really cared about the grand final stuff. It was more about Healthy Harold.
The stats that you threw our way,
no one wanted
decision Sydney went wrong.
No one wanted it. No one wanted it all. So, yeah, well, that's where we're at. Healthy Harold and Harry Potter. This thing's going well, isn't it? I did something really, I don't know why. I was just bored the other day. But AI.
Yep.
Getting really powerful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Smarter than you and I, smarter than humans, can predict things at a quicker rate, can take in information, then process that information, spit out, anything you want. Can also predict the future.
Oh.
So I said, AI, predict the next 10 AFL grand finals.
Ooh.
And this is what we have. This is legit. Take it to the bank.
Okay.
2025, next year, we'll have Brisbane v Geelong.
Now, do we have winners here or just the teams?
I think it's just the grand final.
Okay.
Then in 2026, we have Sydney v Carlton.
Wow.
2027, Melbourne v Port. 28, Collingwood v the Eagles. 29, Essendon versus Freo. Well done, Bombers. 2030, Geelong v St Kilda.
The 2009
Oh,
rematch.
Wow. 2031, Melbourne v the Doggies. 2032, Brisbane v Adelaide. 2033, Sydney v North. And 2034, we have Richmond v the Gold Coast.
Ew.
That is scary and exciting. I'm looking forward to 2026.
All right, let's go through your favourite grand finals there. 2026, obviously Sydney versus Carlton. That would be fantastic.
That's massive. So I've got to wait 2 years now.
That would be great. I think we can all agree that seeing a club like St Kilda back in the big time would be fantastic.
It'd be great.
So I think we'd love to see Geelong versus St Kilda. Demons versus Doggies. That'd be a beauty.
Yep.
Now let's think about the ones not so
Sydney
good.
v North right now. I mean, Sydney v North is in 2033. Right now, currently, that would be gross.
Yeah.
But obviously the future, and AI has told us it knows everything, that's going to be very good, obviously.
Yep.
And then 1 year after that as well. Right now is gross. I can't see it, but given it's 10 years away, the development of the young kids, the draft picks, the rebuild that Adam, what'd you say, is doing, that's great.
And let's pretend that Dimmer is still with the Coast at the time.
It'd be old as shit.
How good would that be?
That would be big.
Essendon versus Fremantle is a grand final I can't visualise.
No.
Like, that's a really random combo of two teams.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I mean?
So is Melbourne v Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Melbourne must be, AI must know something we don't. So
clearly.
it used all the current data that it could find and trajectories of form and players and all that to put this together. And it's smarter than you and I, Ollie. So it must know. And what does it know? What's it hiding?
What does it know about West Coast Eagles?
What are you hiding, motherfucker?
But seriously, the Eagles. If you think McWalter will be a good coach for the next 4 years, he's taken them to a grand final already.
True. Should I predict the Brownlow medalist?
Yeah, I would love that.
Brownlow, predict the next 5 AFL Brownlow medalists. Okay, it's thinking, it's spitting out. Wow. Okay, this is big. Next year, the Brownlow medalist, Nick Dacos.
Okay, I think
Then Christian Petrarca, 2026. 2027, Marcus Bontempelli. 2028, Zach Butters. 2029, Noah Anderson. I'm getting a bit scared here. How's it know?
The only thing there is I would imagine the Bont would be getting a bit old by then. So maybe the order for mine. But other than that,
scary.
Noah's probably bang on.
Yeah. This machine's starting to scare me a little bit. It knows something that we don't.
Could you pump something in to do with Dan Does Footy?
Yeah. Where will Dan Does Footy podcast be in 5 years based off your wisdom? Larger dedicated audience. Dan Does Footy will have likely grown a loyal following, especially if Dan can tap into consistent content delivery. What the fuck is this? 2, regular guest appearances as the podcast gains momentum. Yep. Expect to see bigger guests, former players, coaches, and journalists. Yuck. Monetization and sponsorship. Okay, lots of money there. Expansion to content. Dan may expand beyond a traditional audio podcast format, moving into YouTube, live events, and mainstay in the AFL media landscape. If executed well, Dan Does Footy could become a staple of the AFL discourse, especially if Dan maintains authenticity and a fresh voice. What the fuck?
I mean, there's our business model.
We gotta get away from this. This is scary.
Can you do one more? Can you just pump my name in?
Okay.
Just to see where I'll be.
Where will Ollie Gill be in 5 years? Where will Ollie Gill be? Okay. Projecting where Ollie Gill will be in 5 years depends on his goals, work ethic, and opportunities. Prominent role in sports media. If Ollie is pursuing a career in sports media, he could rise to become a well-known voice or face in the industry. Leadership in the media or sports organisation. If Ollie has entrepreneurial ambitions, he might be running his own media company, leveraging his expertise in the AFL. Established content creator with a larger following. How big do you want to be?
Well, you tell me how.
Sorry, everyone.
That's okay.
With the growth of personal brands, Ollie could become a major content creator with a loyal fan base involved in AFL management. Yes. Oh, my God.
You said that.
What is happening here? If Ollie decides to get directly more involved in the AFL, he might take a role within a club working areas like media management, player development, or even coaching, depending on his interests, personal growth, and diversified ventures. In 5 years, Ollie may have diversified his career beyond sports media. This is scary.
I do have interests outside of...
This is scary. Weed farm in Tassie. Now we're talking. All right, before we wrap things up, let's look at what's happening outside the AFL in the rugby league. The NRL Grand Final is on this week. And finally, a Melbourne team that's in something. Good to be part of something involved. Just once this year. Storm v Penrith. This is as even as a grand final as you can stick your teeth into.
Yeah.
Sportsbet are giving us the Storm at $1.90, Penrith $1.94. I'll watch this. That's
Huge.
a big storyline. Storm returned to the grand final. Last appearance was only 4 years ago, where they beat Penrith before Penrith went crazy and got in this role.
Right.
So this is back to the start for everybody now. And since Penrith have won 3 in a row, looking for the 4-peat this year. Kid Leroy performing. See how he compares to Katy Perry. Katy Perry very good. Kid Leroy a bit younger. He's going to light that joint up. Is he bringing out 1-4?
What do we know here?
Retaliation is a must. Ain't no maybes, ifs or buts. We know that.
We know that. That's locked in. But they've performed together already, or they're going on tour or something?
1-4 are actually banned from performing in Australia.
Sure.
So Kid Leroy, if you watch the doco, you'll know that he took him out on stage regardless and said, fuck it to everyone. But the police are heavy on 1-4. And as part of like that crew, I hate that they've done that to us.
Yeah.
So I want them to, I would love for them to be up there. I would lose it. Please, Kid Leroy.
That'd get
get
the people going.
So that'd be big. That's Sunday night. That's a big grand. I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah, brilliant.
Big hits. So go the Storm. Up the Storm. Come on, bring it home for Melbourne. We need this. NBL season has also started. If you're looking to sink your teeth into something a bit different now that the football is over. Some big signings we got in the NBL. NBL's got some talent.
Oh my God.
Has it ever? I went during the week and it was the product's getting better. The vibes are good there. I love what's coming out of the NBL right now. Taco Fall, former NBA player, 7'6", big son of a bitch.
That's huge.
He is signed with the Breakers. So look out for him. You literally cannot miss him. He's massive on the telecast. His head doesn't fit in the screen. 36ers signed Montrezl Harrell.
Right.
Former Philly player, I think. NBA player for a long time. So he's at the 36ers. Melbourne have Jack White and Ian Clark. Ian Clark played with Steph Curry. So the NBL, it's got some stuff about it that we're loving the vibes coming out of it.
Mate, it's such a good product.
It is great. How the Jack jumpers going?
It's one win, one loss so far.
Right.
Looking forward to getting to a game. Obviously, we did the same ad for the NBL. It was good to see that you went.
Yes. And you will get yours. You'll get your slice of the pie.
So how does that happen? Like I just sort of...
I think I have to go to Tassie to get yours.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
Bring that on.
Yeah. Where's that stadium in Tassie, you know?
Yeah. Whereabouts? What do you mean? Like...
Like what city is it in?
Hobart.
Okay.
Play a few games in Launceston, I think, contractually.
Yeah.
At the Silver Dome, but mainly the MyState Bank Arena.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out for them. And then the AFLW action is also on this weekend still. Now, the best two teams in this thing, we still thinking of Northern Kangaroos. Is this Northern Brisbane?
No, Northern Kangaroos are a real shot here.
Northern Brisbane? They're the two best still? Yeah.
Brisbane have steadied the ship a little bit of a wobble, but they're back now. North, absolutely.
So it's those two, then Daylight. Is that the vibes we're getting out of this thing?
Do you want me to read you the ladder?
Yeah, please. Tell us where we're at with this.
AFLW. So we're pretty much coming down to going into week 6.
Yeah.
So things are getting pretty tight. So yeah, North Melbourne, 22 points, Brisbane Lions, 20 points, and then in third spot, Adelaide Crows, 16 points.
Okay.
And all the way down to 7th are all on 16 points.
Big.
So it's pretty close.
Okay.
There.
So a bit to get into this weekend now that AFL is done. EPL, what's happening in the EPL? Give me a quick rundown. I know that Chelsea are killing it.
What is worth noting there? Manchester United massively up struggle street. Wouldn't be surprised if their manager Ten Hag is maybe released of his duties at some point in the near future. It's just been not good enough.
They are. They're 13th. That's not acceptable for that
3-0
organisation.
loss to Big Ange.
Wow.
And Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal and Man City both are the two teams left in it that haven't lost a game, which is exciting. Aston Villa, a little bit of a romantic story there. They're doing all sorts, which is good to see. But yeah, Man United for mine, the storyline of the season. It's not looking good.
Wow. So they're 13th at the moment. They've played 6 games. Given they're 13th and it's that club, is this really already sack coach vibes?
Oh, mate, absolutely. They're spending cash like stupid. They're getting rid of players for next to nothing who end up doing pretty well. Like Jadon Sancho, terrible last year. And they've loaned him out to Chelsea, rookie error, and he's already got an assist in every game or something along those lines. And you just can't be beaten 3-0 at home. And also, one of my favourite things, I think I might have mentioned it briefly on the podcast, but the new coach of Liverpool, Arne Slot, went to Old Trafford, beat them, tore them apart. And then in the interview afterwards, they were like, so Arnie, you're new to the Premier League. How did you do it? Like, talk me through how you went about winning this game. And so often in every other sport in the world, you get pretty much the same answer. It's always down to a couple of little easy one-liners.
You don't get much out of normal interviews out of coach.
Just go,
you don't get nothing.
Everyone stood up, blah, 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 all this stuff. He just sat there and word for word, standing on the pitch at Old Trafford, just told us how he beat Man United. And it was really embarrassing. It's like Man United shouldn't be putting up with that. I can't stand them as an Arsenal fan, but like they're too big of a club to have this new guy come in and just be like, well, what we did was
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Jeez, so all happening there. 6 games in, already carnage, left, right and centre.
Yeah, big time. Champions League is underway too, mate. I'm loving it.
Yeah, you're all over it. I love this.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I think we have some big soccer fans in the listenership. We would, surely.
Yeah, of course.
We would, yeah. I know. So I want to start getting around it. Maybe this weekend with our week off.
Yeah.
I can, because the game's late. Early, late.
It depends. There's always like a 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then it goes throughout the night. A-League's not too far away.
A month away.
And could be potentially a little bit of OG involved in the A-League. That's all I'm saying.
What are you doing?
No, that's
Who
all I'm
presenting
saying.
for?
That's all I'm saying.
That's big.
That's all I'm saying. There could be.
Victory.
Well, they could be.
Wow, fair enough. I love that. Well, good on you, mate. All
Who
happening.
knows? Who knows?
All right, it's that time of the week. It's time for your sports bets feed. I hope you're hungry. And now that the footy's done, we're not stopping. No, we're going to keep going. So I've got some delicious feeds for you right here, starting with the NRL Grand Final. We're going to back the Storm in. We're going to back in Brian To'o to score a try, and Xavier Coates also anytime try scorer. And then we're going to jump over to Monday Night Football in the NFL. We've got the Saints versus Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going New Orleans Saints to win in an upset, and we're going to go over match points 42.5. Ollie, what have you got for us?
Mate, I'm loving that in particular. We saw Rushy Rice. He's no good now.
He's gone.
The weapons around Mahomes, not so good, and I'm loving how highly New Orleans is scoring at the moment. So I love that from you. I'm going to turn my attention to the Premier League. My early thoughts, I'm going to focus on the Arsenal-Southampton game. Arsenal to win, clearly. Goals over 2.5, and then I'm not mucking around with any of this. Saka to have a shot on target. Straight up, Saka to score. He's been great with assists, but Bukayo Saka to score. So Arsenal win over 2.5 goals. Saka to score.
Huge. So my bet's on the feed. Your bet's on the feed as well.
Absolutely.
Ollie, go check it out right now on Sports Bets, the feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thanks. Hey, we before we go, we are, as you might have heard on Monday, we're gonna have a week off to just freshen up. We've been going since Feb, and I think now, given that it's trade week, guys, we know historically nothing happens in the first week. It is boring as shit. The little fish get done, and it's cool, it's cute, it's a little sugar hit, but the big fish are in the second week. So we're going to come back for the second week, and then we're going to keep going until December. We're going to keep talking about sport and all that, but you and I are going to have a week off first, and let's just recharge the batteries.
Yeah. And to be fair, by the time that any one of the podcasts come out next week, we could have, absolutely have told a massive rumour, and then that would have changed.
Yeah.
So wise decision to have a break.
Yeah.
And then after trade week, just deliver.
We're back in.
Jesus, Daniel
geez,
Ricciardo.
Yeah.
And we'll come in and we'll just have the cold hard facts.
Yeah. It'll go quickly. We're back for second week of trade week. We'll have some stuff to talk about. Obviously, a lot will happen. We'll have some players that have moved by then. We'll discuss that. But a week off is good for everyone.
Yeah.
We come back, refresh, recharge, ready to hit the back end, the last quarter, really, with some absolute pace. So we will see you, not next week, definitely not, but the week after. And we cannot wait to be back in your ears and your hearts and your eyes.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in about a week and a half.
Love that.
Love you all.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.